Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene. I am going to share a crumb quilting tip with you. I don't know if I've ever shared this tip before. It's always possible, but I'm going to share it because I'm sitting here doing some crumb piecing. I mentioned in a recent video that I really wanted to get back to doing some crumb quilt blocks, and I've been pretty good at doing that. Sometimes I spend more time just putting pieces together, but I have finished some crumb blocks. I will show them to you right now. I didn't have any finished at the time that I recorded and showed you my crumbs and things like that. I made some 5-inch squares. They'll eventually be going on eBay. I have a hard time finding time for eBay. I wish I had somebody who could do that for me. Anyway, here's one. I don't know. I'm looking at it in the little window. I don't know what to call that thing. It almost looks like a little house of some kind, like a roof. Yeah, pretty cool. And then this one, see, selvage. I'm going to give you a selvage tip today. And this one, I like using selvages in the blocks. This guy, a little bit of flannel right there. You can mix your fabrics. You can even use knits if you want to stabilize them with a piece of, like one-sided fusible or something like that. You can do that. Look at that. So I think I've done a good job. I don't have a lot of time, but I'm happy even if I sit for 10 minutes and do that. I feel like it's worth it. Okay, selvages. I like to use selvages in my crumb blocks. Now, let me look at one here. Okay, I know there's some because I just saw them. Okay, so see how this selvage and this one, they're top stitched onto the piece next to them. Like that. So there's two ways you can do it. And you can do it either way. Let's say we have a piece of fabric. Let's say we have this. And let's say we want this on here. And we're going to top stitch. And then we're going to attach, fabric to here as usual, like we would be putting right sides together and then flipping open, and you'd have this top stitched piece and you'd have this piece. When you take a selvage like that and you just put it on the edge of a strip, it's doable. But sometimes it moves. You can end up not catching the fabric underneath. And it also is not very stable. And it can get wobbly. It can get like warped because one side might be catching better than the other. And so I don't suggest doing it that way unless you really need to. Now let's say you have this happening. You have a strip set and you want to just add a selvage in this way and then like trim this so you'd have just a nice selvage and a little bit of this stuff going on. Well, this is more stable. There's a lot of seams there, so you could go ahead and top stitch like that. But let's say you just want to use this in a block. Grab a bigger piece of fabric. It doesn't have to be this big. But now, here's what you do. You still put this right side up. So both things are right side up. And you're still going to top stitch. I like to do it this way. I like my selvage to be to my left. You can do it whatever way works for you. And put it like in the middle of the fabric, so that there's a lot of fabric left here. Now you see what's happening? This is way more stable. The edges aren't going to stretch because even if you're not on the bias, this is not on the bias, that's stretchy. It's not going to stretch as much if you're working in the center like that. Now let's top stitch. That was so much easier, except I do have a little bunched up corner, but that's okay. We can trim that right off. Now you're going to leave this part here. The raw selvage is here, and you're going to leave that. But you can pull this guy back now, and you can just trim behind there. So now you have it sewn together. And it was so easy to do. It really is the best way to do this. You also could have done that at an angle. Let's say you'd like to put this like on a corner, and you'd have a corner piece, and then you could work around that. Let me get rid of this little thing. Again, if you were to just take a triangle, like say you wanted to put it here and you wanted the triangle here. If you were just to do this, you're on the bias of this piece, and it's just going to be, you know, not the easiest thing to do. You still can do it. You could even put a little bit of glue stick, but I just think it's easier to just take a piece big enough and just lay this down. You're going to have a corner here now. And let's top stitch. I like my selvage to the left, so let's go this way. I'm just going to turn it. Just so easy. I'm leaving my corner there. I can trim off this little bit here if I want, this little bit of selvage. And now I'm flipping it. I want to keep the corner. Flipping that, and I'm just going to trim behind it. There. Now let's add to that, because you might be saying, well, what are you going to do with this? Well, it's the beginning of a crumb block. And I have all kinds of choices. Even though this goes this way and then down, I can just take a strip and just lay it, now, right sides together. And I don't have to trim that yet if I don't want to. I'm just laying the strip down straight, and I'm going to sew. And of course, I'm always doing chain piecing at this point. It's only when I really want to finish a block, I might, you know, just add a few more pieces to finish that block. Now I'm pushing back. See, and that's how you get angles in your crumb blocks. Now I can trim this right here. And let's just put another piece. Now I've got another piece here started with lots of nice little angles. And how about we join these two guys? See how cool that is? And I would just keep building around that until I can get another 5 by 5 inch square. See the selvage we added? Made a nice little triangle. Awesome. Where's the other one I did? Let's add something to this one. Okay, this is a scrap that came from me trimming. See, there's some stuff attached there at the bottom. I don't know why I can't show you. It wants to flip. But I'm going to use this. Let's put it this way or this way. Now this piece with the top stitched, you're going to use this just as a regular piece of fabric because there's raw edges on both sides. So I'm going to put it on this edge. Let's try that. Ooh, that's gonna work. Look, see those little pieces there? Let's finish it. I love it. That's how you get the really tiny pieces. You don't have to start with small pieces. If you haven't watched my entire Crumb Quilt series, you have to go do that. You just have to. Here's a little bit of homespun cotton. Different texture. I like that. No right or wrong to this. So let's just, let's see, it's a little wider here. So let's put the wider piece down here where it's more narrow. And I would just keep going. Oh, I want to keep going. I want to enclose those little pieces so we can see how beautiful they are trapped in this block. All right, we don't have any purple in this one, so let's just take this handy dandy purple strip, put it right here. Now those pieces should be kind of tiny. Oh my God. Can I actually show you? Look, 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 look. Look at them. Look at how cool that is. Why can't I get where I want to be? See? that little bluish one right in the corner with the little tiny flowers, somebody would think you put a little tiny triangle there, but we didn't. Okay, I'm going to show you one more tip because I thought of it when I was showing you this strip set. Create some strip sets. They're a Crumb quilter's best friend. And then let's say that we would like to cut this at a diagonal because I like crumb blocks that are not just all rectangles, all just, you know, sewn around each other. There's nothing wrong with that, but I personally love anything very weird and wacky. So let's find some strips. Let's use the purple since we've got this going. My memory card ran out, so I don't know exactly where it stopped. I was telling you that I'm going to show you what you can do with a strip set like this. Now let's say that we would like to cut it so that we would have a triangular thing going on. Instead of cutting this and then trying to sew something on this raw edge, let's say, you know, say we cut it like that, just pretend that's cut. This edge has a lot of seams and that can come apart and stretch. So what you do instead is you just take a strip of fabric, and you don't have to worry about measurements. I mean, this is crumb quilting. Lay it down somewhere on your piece, and we're going to sew on this edge. Now, don't do anything about this yet. Take another strip. Geez, I would love this strip, but it's not quite long enough. You know, I sell so many scraps that I, really have depleted my own personal crumb stash. Now I'm going to put this strip here. It can be pretty close to this one, so I'm going to have this going on. I just have a strip this way, and I sewed on that line. Now I'm putting a strip on this side, and I'm going to sew in the center. So those two sewn lines are going to be down the center. So we're going to be creating two pieces at once. We're going to cut between these guys, pull back or push back, and look how easy it was to attach that strip to the strip set, huh? Now there's still quite a lot going on here. I could add another piece to make yet another beginning piece. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to go ahead with this kind of shortish piece because I love the colors. I'm going to get another strip. Ooh, this green. Okay, so I'm going to lay two strips down. I'm going to sew down the center of each one of those. Oops, hang on. Robocall. I am going to cut between those two strips that I just sewed on. And now, look, we have a nice manageable size piece here. And now these two we will have to separate, so there will be a raw edge, and you can do that in any angle you want. So let's go this way. It's a nice manageable size piece, as is this. And then you could just keep on going, working around and around and around. Here's one more. So hopefully that helped you out. I just really love this so much. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with more soon. Bye.